Welcome to Woodshop 101, a woodworking audio podcast geared toward the hobby weekend woodworker. Your hosts for the show are Jeremy Crawford and Drew Shore. Join these two different craftsmen for a lighthearted banter about everything woodworking, online education, and how they produce content. Topics could include the latest news, tips, tricks, and designs, to include furniture, crafts, and shop projects. Hi, welcome to episode number 29. Today we're going to talk about beginner projects and which ones we feel are great, kind of great to start with. So what's going on tonight, Drew?
Man, it's been a busy day today. I've actually went to visit the in-laws and just got to have a little fun. We had a nice dinner, lunch kind of thing, and got to go out and practice some shooting because we're going to take our concealed carry course here pretty quick, like in the middle of March, like March 12th. I think we're taking our concealed carry course. And my daughter also got to have a BB gun shooting lesson for the first time, so she got to shoot a little BB gun.
Nice.
I was so proud.
That's a proud moment for Daddy right there.
That's right.
So, yeah, I know how it is being busy. Seems like we were never gonna just meet up tonight. If you guys don't know, we're recording about 2 days late and an hour. So, right, we usually record Thursdays at 9. This is actually Saturday night at 10. So, but we're getting a show out, so that's what's important.
Yeah, and we're having to flip-flop this a little bit because the show that you're going to hear right now should be a week later. But we had to do some schedule changes with our guest host, or to where we had to make this one earlier than before. So we're going to flip-flop that around and have our special guest episode next week.
What's important is you're not missing a show.
That's exactly right. We have a backup.
So, all right, you want to just jump right into it?
Yeah, this was actually a recommendation from one of our viewers, a suggestion that they wanted us to bring up for this particular episode. And as you know, this episode is our fast and loose. It's jumping into the topic and getting it done. And the suggestion that we had was the beginner's projects. What is a good one to do? And that's actually a really good thing for this podcast, just because this is a 101 episode, like a beginner's woodworking intro, blah, blah, blah kind of thing. So my recommendation for a beginner's project, and I remember doing this whenever I was starting into craft shows, and that's how I kind of got my woodworking start after I acquired my tools. And I did things like quilt racks, which I thought about this after you and I had talked, Jeremy. Just a simple little, I think it's 4 boards and a dowel rod is all it is, and it just hangs up on the wall. That's a really easy thing to do. It's almost like an overgrown paper towel holder.
Hey, but it works.
You'll
never run out of paper towels.
Dude, you can hang like 9 rolls right up on there. Just hang it up in the kitchen. And another one was a 5-board bench, or in my case, I tend to like using 6 boards because I tend to put a shelf underneath so you can store. At that time, my wife liked putting quilts and blankets and things like that. But it makes a really good entry bench to where you can sit down and put your shoes on, and if you had the shelf underneath, you could put your shoes up on it. And even if you don't know special joinery or advanced joinery to put it together, like I did with my bench of joints, you can check that out. You can just use cleats and screws to set the shelf on, and you can use brad nails and glue for the rest of it. I mean, it doesn't have to be super advanced, but it really gets your feet wet when it comes to cutting boards on a table saw or a sliding compound saw, and then doing the assembly work and painting it. I mean, just remember to use glue. Whenever I made my first bench, glue was not the first thing on my mind. I was like, I don't need glue. Stick it together with nails.
Yeah? How'd that work out for you? Did it fall apart?
Yeah, let's just say it didn't last a whole year. And it was, as people would sit on it, and I'm like, oh, hey, you don't want to sit on that. That's just for pretties. Just get up.
Yeah, get up. Yeah, with beginner projects, that's really the point behind it. It's kind of to build your confidence or boost your confidence and it's supposed to be something easy. And so I'm going to kind of go with two different projects. If you don't have a huge place to build, you just have a circular saw, some small tools to get started. Something really easy is a face grain cutting board. That is literally just laminating some boards together on their edge and sanding them down, throwing some usually mineral oil on it, and then you got yourself a nice little cutting board. Granted, it's not probably the best cutting board. If you get a little more advanced, you go with an edge grain. That's just rotating your boards 90 degrees and then laminating them together. Those hold up just a little bit better. I would not recommend a ingrain cutting board for your first project, just for the fact of it's many steps, and if you don't get every glue up true 90 degrees, then it's going to screw up the glue up coming after it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to make flattening.
Advanced.
It is. It's going to make flattening so much harder. So grab a couple boards, make yourself a cutting board. If you want to find yourself maybe just a tad bit more advanced, or you have a little more tooling or a little more space, build a table. Tables are easy. You can build them as easy or as complex as you want. You don't have to get into the Wood Whisper gaming table for your first table. You can build a nice farmhouse table, some planks, use some pocket holes, some glue, or you build like a little, just like a little coffee table, a little sofa table. And in fact, my sofa table is going to be complete this week.
I was joking. I was like, alert the media, the table's done.
So, and you'll see it. I really dumbed it down. And like that's just super simple. You don't even have to tape the legs like I did. It's literally 4 legs, 4 aprons, and a top.
Mm-hmm.
And mine's glued together with dowels, but you can put it together with brad nails, a little bit of glue. You want that glue, Drew?
Hey, I've learned that lesson.
Look, if somebody's listening, you need to send him some glue. Does your shirt really say it's a short thing?
You wouldn't understand.
No, I will understand. I'm short.
In case you don't know, we've got video on our Skype call here, so he's able to see everything I'm doing.
So build a table. You can build any table. Like I said, you can make them pretty complex. You can make them simple. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and touching on that, some of the people were like, "Well, most tables have complex legs," and like you were saying too, you don't have to taper them. They can be straight. But if you wanted to go a fancier route, you can actually buy pre-made and pre-turned table legs at big box stores. So those, you can just pocket screw right into them, and they're already turned. They're ready to go. Sand them as you get it all together, and you got a really nice table. And even the aprons, I remember making a coffee table for my craft shows, and sometimes the aprons are attached to the legs, just like butt jointed together or pocket screwed or whatever. But I remember making the box, the apron box, and then putting the legs up underneath inside the apron, so the apron wrapped around the whole thing, and that's all you saw until the legs poked out. And that makes it even easier.
Well, and the fact, and now that you said it, a lot of times, like, I don't necessarily do a lot of shopping at like craft fairs or like trade days, but I go because I like to see what's out there. I like to get ideas, and a lot of times, like, you can pick up small little knickknacks or something to include in your project. But just like you said, there's tables that are going for $2,000-$3,000 that are just like that. It's a box, and then the table legs on the inside. I look at that and say, I'm not spending $2,000 or $3,000 on that. But it sells. If it didn't sell, people wouldn't have them out there. And so it like you said, you can make it very complex. You can make it very simple. It's the point is, don't overcomplicate it your first few times. Each project get just a little harder. Incorporate something new that you didn't do the time before. Because if you jump right into it and you jump into like the Morris chair build or a Maloof rocker or even cabinet builds, you're going to find yourself pretty overwhelmed, and then it might ruin the craft for you. Not saying that you can't do it. A lot of people do. A lot of people jump into these bigger projects and get them done. But if you look at it and say, I don't know if I can ever do that, or you find it overwhelming just looking at it, then don't try it right off the bat. Build up to it. Use it as a bucket list project. That way,
go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry, dude.
That way, you're finding yourself enjoying the shop and not dreading getting out there and doing it.
Right, and do your homework. I mean, I get a lot of ideas by going to furniture stores and examining the construction of simple things like tables and benches. Back whenever I first started, just to see how it was put together. And then I also got inspiration from magazines like Country Sampler, because they have a lot of knick-knack kind of things that are small in nature, but still allow you to get a little bit more of an advanced feel for the project after you have done something simple like the projects that we are talking about. But like simple cabinetry, I found something in Country Sampler many years ago, and it was like a kitchen, just like a kitchen cabinet / shelving unit. It had one side had a door that was only about 6 inches wide and about 10 inches tall, and it just hid a bunch of other shelves behind it. But it was just a very simple cabinet that looked really good when it was done. And the cabinet door was a 5-panel door, or excuse me, a 5-piece door with a panel in the middle. So something like that will help you get your feet wet a little bit further. But always look for inspiration in knick-knack magazines, and do extensive homework with maybe a camera, and go to these furniture stores to kind of, because they'll let you take pictures of the stuff. A lot of interior designers will go to stores like that and take pictures. So just take pictures of the construction of the item that you are thinking about building, so you can actually get a really good grasp of how it's put together.
Yeah. Just be aware. Some places don't like you taking pictures, so if you're going to do it discreetly.
Yeah.
Especially if you go to craft fairs. Or trade shows. Like if you're going to take a picture, either ask permission or do it very discreetly. It can cause a lot of problems. And if it says no photography, if there's a sign that says no photography, be honest and don't do photography, because those are the type of people that will cause the scene.
Oh yeah, I ran into that once when I went to Arkansas. We stopped at an antique store there, and they had some handmade stuff too that people would bring in and sell. And it had a sign that said no photography. So I was like, real discreetly with my phone trying to take a picture, and it didn't work. They caught me.
Yeah. So, So, if you guys have ideas on beginner projects, definitely leave us some comments, shoot us Facebook, Twitter. Just because this is our opinion doesn't mean that it's the best way or the best projects to do. We want to hear from you and hear what you either started with or have recommendation for somebody else that's starting.
Yeah, a lot of people like to read the comments to kind of get ideas from other people, and that's where a lot of that can happen. You can give people really good ideas. So, and also these shows that we're putting on are coming from the viewers and the listeners giving us these topic ideas. So if you also have a topic idea that you want to submit for one of these short shows like this, much like this one, be sure and email that to us or leave it in the comment section of one of our actual shows.
Yeah, like you said, comments they're a good way for other people to get information about the show, but it's also a good way to carry on the conversation from the show, because right now that conversation is between me and you going to the listener, but we're not really getting feedback. In those comments, it really is an extension of the show, and we're able to communicate with the actual listener about the specific episode we just did, whether it be a stupid comment we made or they have a question because we didn't dumb it down good enough, or we dumbed it down too much and made them feel retarded, and then they want to tell us off about it. Either way, it's an extension of that show, and like Drew said, I go through and read the comments. Sometimes you just get off the wall comments that are funny. So,
well, that's also a good thing too. It's kind of like a call to action. What I want to know, since we're doing a show like this on beginner projects, I want to know from you guys. Leave this down in the comment section. What was your first project that you did that you were most proud of at the time you did it, and now that you have been doing woodworking for so long, that you are most ashamed of? Because my 5-board bench was going to be mine, because it did not make it without glue.
Oh no, I can't even remember that far back what I would be most ashamed of. I'm trying to remember what I've even built. I will tell you, my first dining room table, I'm not too fond of. Would I have put it in my house? Probably not. Let's just put it that way. But other people wanted it. They have it, and hopefully they're still enjoying it. In fact, I know they are, because I'm still getting calls and saying, "Hey, so-and-so recommended you." So, and
at least it's not calls saying that the leg fell off.
And then I kindly tell them when they ask how much to build a bench, and I quote them like four times the amount of what I gave them, and that's just because I don't really want to do it. but hey, the first time somebody accepts it, it's going to be worth it.
Just tell them you're older and wiser, so it's more expensive.
Yeah. $4,000. Oh, you accept it? Okay, I'll be glad to build it for you.
We're going to move into another segment just of what's new going on right now. We've actually got a couple of things that we kind of had to move forward into this particular episode. We were going to mention it in our longer episode, but there will be old news by that time. So we've got a couple of things that are going to be happening. Jeremy's going to hit on one. I'll hit on another. We've got a couple of woodworking shows that are coming up very, very soon. One of those is in Atlanta, which is the later show. That's going to take place the first week in April. And I actually come back from my Rockler visit in California the week before. That's another show that's going to happen. Both April Wilkerson and I from WilkerDues.com. We're going to Rockler in Rocklin, California. I know that's kind of a mouthful. Rockler in Rocklin. And we'll be there on a Saturday during Easter weekend. And we'll be teaching a class on joinery and a simple build project, and it's going to be like a bookcase. We did one in Altamont Springs, Florida, and we took a lot of things away from that particular class because we actually did not get a chance to do our joinery class. We just did the build project, which took twice as long, if not longer, than what we expected. So we're going to really prepare for the Rockler store visit to make it a lot more informative and get to everything. And if you guys are in that area, be sure and attend that. The Atlanta show is going to be on the weekend. I think it's the 2nd and the 3rd. Maybe the 3rd and 4th. Can't remember exactly. But it's the weekend of the first week in April.
Yeah, so it'd be Friday, April Fool's Day. So yeah, the 2nd and 3rd would be Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. And that is going to be a huge show. It is really geared towards the power tool woodworker as well as the hand tool woodworker. So it's a great mixture. There's going to be a lot of vendors, as well as the video woodworkers are going to be getting back together again like we did in Kansas City for Woodworking in America. So it's going to be like a repeat of that. We're going to have a bigger booth. A few more participants will be in the booth. The layout will be completely different, so it'll be much more enjoyable for the people that come. And let me tell you, in WIA, that was the busiest booth in the entire show. And it was just crazy how many people drove from miles and different countries, even from Canada. They just came to see us, they were telling us. So it was very cool to see all that. And we wanted to bring that back in Atlanta. So that is going to be a big show there. So if you're in the Atlanta area on the first weekend in April, be sure and drop by and say hi.
Yeah, and so here's the dates. In fact, I'm looking at it. So it's Atlanta, April 1st, 2nd, and the 3rd. It'll be Friday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and then Sunday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So stop by that booth and see those guys. Unfortunately, I will not be at that Atlanta show. However, if you're going to be in the Houston area, February 26th, 27th, or 28th, look me up. I'm going to be at the woodworking show here in Houston. Again, the times are going to be 12 to 6 on Friday, 10 to 6 on Saturday, and then 10 to 3 on Sunday. And it's actually going to be at the Pasadena Convention Center, which is just outside of Houston. So you're not going to be in the major construction areas or the busier parts. So if you're planning on attending that, I don't know when I'm going to go. So shoot me an email, Facebook, contact me somehow, and we'll set something up where we can meet up. Either that or I have you guys back over to the shop, and we can kind of just hang out. But the woodworking shows are probably about the best ones to go to for when they travel, and they're super cheap. They're only $10 if you pre-order your ticket, or they're $12 at the door, and that includes seeing all your demonstrations and all these little classes. Woodworking in America was like $12 to get onto just the marketplace floor. But then it was like $100 if I remember right, or $200 to get into the classes.
Yeah, and that's like, I mean, you get into all the classes if you buy that really big ticket, but
yeah, but this one for $12, you can go see any of it.
That is super inexpensive for all the stuff you're going to see. So
yeah, so at least we have two of the woodworking shows covered. So, all right.
What is this? What is next for Jeremy?
I'm going to kind of leave you guys on a cliffhanger. I'm going to point you in a direction, and then I will actually break the full news next week's episode. But I finally found out where I'm moving.
Oh, see, I don't even know about this.
Nope, I found out. Let's see, today's Saturday. I found out this week. I found out on Tuesday. I went to lunch, came back from lunch, got on my computer at work, and lo and behold, there was my orders telling me where I was going to go. Can give some hits. It will be back on the East Coast. It's not where necessarily I wanted to what coast I want it to be on. I really want to stay in the Gulf, but I'm pretty happy with the job I'm going to have. But I don't know at this point, moving forward, once I move, when I will actually be operational again back in the shop, because it's very dependent on what house I get, if I have a shop, or how big of a shop, if I'm going to have to really start downgrading. There's a lot of factors into moving, especially because I don't plan on purchasing a house. And when you're renting, you don't really have the say, like, oh, well, this isn't a good enough place because it doesn't have a shop. Well, that may be the only one of two houses in the area to rent. So I'm going to do what I can, but just know I will be moving this summer at some point. If you want to know, and if you want to hear a little more, I wrote an article, and I'll put the article link in the show notes. You can go read all about it. You'll find out where I'm going, kind of talk about the journey, and then I'm going to kind of document moving the shop over there, and then just the stress and the complexity that it takes to actually physically move a shop from one coast to another coast. But
yeah, I'm not looking forward to that if I ever move.
Yeah, so that article is not released yet, which is Saturday, but it will be released by Monday by the time you're listening to this. So go to the show notes and go read that article, leave some comments, and then we'll talk about it on the next show, and then I'll actually break the news. But I want to see how many people actually care what I do and are going to go look and read it. So, and in fact, if any of my family's listening to this, I'm not telling you either. Go read the article.
Or if you don't like reading, just listen to the next show.
Or listen to the next show. But yeah, the only people that know are my wife, one aunt, one cousin, my brother, and my mom and my dad. That's it. Which it's really kind of too early to start telling people just because they got all these questions, and there's questions I can't even answer right now. Like, when am I moving? Where am I going to live? I don't know any of that. I just know this summer, between June and August, I'll be living somewhere different. So,
well, I'm hurt that I didn't get told.
Hey, look.
I've got to find out with the rest of them.
No, I'll send you an exclusive link to the article.
Oh, that's nice of you.
So, here's a hint. And you may know, and you may not. I am moving to where Bob Claggett is right now.
Oh. Well, that's not exactly on the coast, though.
Yes, it is. Where he is currently at right now.
Oh, right now? As in, like, this very hour?
Like, where he is at this weekend.
Oh, this week. Okay.
I mean, like, yeah, this physical hour, right now, he is in a different location than what you're thinking.
Not where he lives, but where he's at.
So.
Okay.
You can do your research between now and, or you don't want to, because by the time you listen to this.
Well, you're going to be awfully closer to, like, 2 other big YouTube woodworkers out there, too, so.
You're going to have to tell me once we hang up here, because I don't know. But, I'm really, that location I'm hoping is going to put me in a bigger pool of woodworkers. And in fact, I'm hoping that I'll be able to attend more of the woodworking shows, because where I'm at now, they just don't.
They just don't happen very often around that area.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping.
Like me.
Yeah, I'm hoping where that's going to be at. It's going to be a good move for the shop. And so the future of the podcast, and I'll put this in there, we are going to push through. I haven't figured out how we're going to record. If I'm going to fix my laptop, or if I'm physically going to move my own computer, and stop at a hotel or something and plug it in and record. We will record. There just won't be probably much going on with me in the shop.
It'll be like the mail. It must go through.
There you go. So, all right.
Well, very cool. Like I said, I didn't know about that, so it was cool to hear.
Well, you want to give the contact info, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here.
Well, you want to cut it short now? That's just, you don't want to talk to me anymore.
Well, I mean, this was supposed to be cut short.
Just playing.
And we're already going at 27 minutes.
Oh man, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, this is not that fast and loose episode.
No, it's not. All right, guys. Well, the contact info for me, if you need to get in touch with me, you can find all of my contact at rhwoodshop.com. Just click on my contact icon, and you'll find everything that you need to know, including all my social media will be there. The Woodshop 101 you can find at the website is woodshop101.com or woodshop101podcast.com/listen. You can find all our episodes there, as a matter of fact, and email us any suggestions, comments, anything like that for the show. And you can do that at woodshop101podcast@gmail.com. And we also have a voicemail that you can call. We actually have a voicemail I think we're going to feature on our next episode, so that'll be cool to hear. But the number is area code 409-234-3959. That's 409-234-3959. You can call from any device, even landline. So that's a pretty nice way to get in touch with us. And Jeremy, what about you, man?
You could reach me at countrysideworkshop.com. There you'll have links to my email address, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those things. If you just want to shoot me an email, it's jeremy@countrysideworkshop.com.
Very cool. All right. Well, this was a good episode. So if you have any suggestions or comments, or want to give us any info on your past projects for beginners, be sure and leave that down in the comments, and drop us a 5-star rating down on iTunes. That will help us out greatly as well. So from Jeremy and myself, we want to wish you well. Be safe in your shops, and we're going to do a quick sign off. 1, 2, 3.
Boom. I look at that and say I'm not spending $2,000 or $3,000 on that, but it sells. If it didn't sell, people wouldn't have them out there, and so it like you said, you can make it very complex. You can make it very simple. It's the point is, don't overcomplicate it your first few times. Each project get just a little harder. Incorporate something new that you didn't do the time before. Because if you jump right into it and you jump into like the Morris chair build or a Maloof rocker or even cabinet builds, you're going to find yourself pretty overwhelmed, and then it might ruin the craft for you. Not saying that you can't do it. A lot of people do. A lot of people jump into these bigger projects and get them done. But if you look at it and say, I don't know if I can ever do that, or you find it overwhelming just looking at it, then don't try it right off the bat. Build up to it. Use it as a bucket list project. That way.
And go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry, dude.
That way you're finding yourself enjoying the shop and not dreading getting out there and doing it.
Right. And do your homework. I mean, I get a lot of ideas by going to furniture stores and examining the construction of simple things like tables and benches. Back whenever I first started, just to see how it was put together. And then I also got inspiration from magazines like Country Sampler, because they have a lot of knick-knack kind of things that are small in nature, but still allow you to get a little bit more of an advanced feel for the project after you have done something simple like the projects that we are talking about. But like simple cabinetry, I found something in Country Sampler many years ago, and it was like a kitchen, just like a kitchen cabinet / shelving unit. It had one side had a door that was only about 6 inches wide and about 10 inches tall, and it just hid a bunch of other shelves behind it. But it was just a very simple cabinet
and like that's just super simple. You don't even have to tape the legs like I did. It's literally 4 legs, 4 aprons, and a top. Mm-hmm. And mine's glued together with dowels, but you can put it together with brad nails, a little bit of glue. You want that glue, Drew?
Hey, I've learned that lesson.
Look, if somebody's listening, you need to send him some glue. Does your shirt really say it's a short thing?
You wouldn't understand.
No, I will understand. I'm short.
In case you don't know, we've got video on our Skype call here, so he's able to see everything I'm doing.
So build a table. You can build any table. Like I said, you can make them pretty complex. You can make them simple. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and touching on that, some of the people were like, "Well, most tables have complex legs," and like you were saying too, you don't have to taper them. They can be straight. But if you wanted to go a fancier route, you can actually buy pre-made and pre-turned table legs at big box stores. So those, I mean, you can just pocket screw right into them, and they're already turned. They're ready to go. Sand them as you get it all together, and you got a really nice table. And even the aprons, I remember making a coffee table for my craft shows, and sometimes the aprons are attached to the legs, just like butt jointed together or pocket screwed or whatever. But I remember making the box, the apron box, and then putting the legs up underneath inside the apron. So the apron wrapped around the whole thing, and that's all you saw until the legs poked out. And that makes it even easier.
Well, and the fact, and now that you said it, a lot of times, like, I don't necessarily do a lot of shopping at like craft fairs or like trade days, but I go because I like to see what's out there. I like to get ideas, and a lot of times, like, you can pick up small little knickknacks or something to include in your project. But just like you said, I mean, there's tables that are going for $2,000-$3,000 that are just like that. It's a box, and then the table legs on the inside.
Hey, you don't want to sit on that. That's just for pretties. Just get up.
Yeah, get up. Yeah, with beginner projects, that's really the point behind it. It's kind of to build your confidence or boost your confidence, and it's supposed to be something easy. And so I'm gonna kind of go with two different projects. If you don't have a huge place to build, you just have a circular saw, some small tools to get started. Something really easy is a face grain cutting board. That is literally just laminating some boards together on their edge and sanding them down, throwing some usually mineral oil on it, and then you got yourself a nice little cutting board. Granted, it's not probably the best cutting board. If you get a little more advanced, you go with an edge grain. That's just rotating your boards 90 degrees and then laminating them together. Those hold up just a little bit better. I would not recommend a ingrain cutting board for your first project, just for the fact of it's many steps, and if you don't get every glue up true 90 degrees, then it's going to screw up the glue up coming after it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to make flattening.
Advanced.
It is. It's going to make flattening so much harder. So grab a couple boards, make yourself a cutting board. If you want to find yourself maybe just a tad bit more advanced, or you have a little more tooling or a little more space, build a table. Tables are easy. You can build them as easy or as complex as you want. You don't have to get into the Wood Whisper gaming table for your first table. You can build a nice farmhouse table, some planks, use some pocket holes, some glue, or you build like a little, just like a little coffee table, a little sofa table. And in fact, my sofa table is going to be complete this week.
I was joking. I was like, alert the media, the table's done.
So, and you'll see it. I really dumbed it down.
This particular episode. And as you know, this episode is our fast and loose. It's jumping into the topic and getting it done. And the suggestion that we had was the beginner's project. What is a good one to do? And that's actually a really good thing for this podcast, just because this is a 101 episode, like a beginner's woodworking intro, blah, blah, blah kind of thing. So my recommendation for a beginner's project, and I remember doing this whenever I was starting into craft shows, and that's how I kind of got my woodworking start after I acquired my tools. And I did things like quilt racks, which I thought about this after you and I had talked, Jeremy. Just a simple little, I think it's 4 boards and a dowel rod is all it is, and it just hangs up on the wall. That's a really easy thing to do. It's almost like an overgrown paper towel holder.
Hey,
but
works.
It
You'll
does
never run
work.
out of paper towels.
It never, dude. You can hang like 9 rolls right up on there. Just hang it up in the kitchen. And another one was a 5-board bench, or in my case, I tend to like using 6 boards because I tend to put a shelf underneath so you can store. At that time, my wife liked putting quilts and blankets and things like that. But it makes a really good entry bench to where you can sit down and put your shoes on. And if you had the shelf underneath, you could put your shoes up on it. And even if you don't know special joinery or advanced joinery to put it together, like I did with my bench of joints, you can check that out. You can just use cleats and screws to set the shelf on, and you can use brad nails and glue for the rest of it. I mean, it doesn't have to be super advanced, but it really gets your feet wet when it comes to cutting boards on a table saw or a sliding compound saw, and then doing the assembly work and painting it. I mean, just remember to use glue. Whenever I made my first bench, glue was not the first thing on my mind. I was like, I don't need glue. Stick it together with nails.
Yeah? How'd that work out for you? Did it fall apart?
Yeah, let's just say it didn't last a whole year. And it was, as people would sit on it, and I'm like, oh.
Welcome to Woodshop 101, a woodworking audio podcast geared toward the hobby weekend woodworker. Your hosts for the show are Jeremy Crawford and Drew Shore. Join these two different craftsmen for a lighthearted banter about everything woodworking, online education, and how they produce content. Topics could include the latest news, tips, tricks, and designs, to include furniture, crafts, and shop projects. Hi, welcome to episode number 29. Today we're going to talk about beginner projects and which ones we feel are great, kind of great to start with. So what's going on tonight, Drew?
Man, it's been a busy day today. I've actually went to visit the in-laws and just got to have a little fun. We had a nice dinner, lunch kind of thing, and got to go out and practice some shooting because we're going to take our concealed carry course here pretty quick, like in the middle of March, like March 12th. I think we're taking our concealed carry course. And my daughter also got to have a BB gun shooting lesson for the first time, so she got to shoot a little BB gun.
Nice.
I was so proud.
That's a proud moment for Daddy right there.
That's right.
So, yeah, I know how it is being busy. Seems like we were never gonna just meet up tonight. If you guys don't know, we're recording about 2 days late and an hour. So, right, we usually record Thursdays at 9. This is actually Saturday night at 10. So, but we're getting a show out, so that's what's important.
Yeah, and we're having to flip-flop this a little bit because the show that you're going to hear right now should be a week later. But we had to do some schedule changes with our guest host, or to where we had to make this one earlier than before. So we're going to flip-flop that around and have our special guest episode next week.
What's important is you're not missing a show.
That's exactly right. We have a backup.
So, all right, you want to just jump right into it?
Yeah, this was actually a recommendation from one of our viewers, a suggestion that they wanted us to bring up for